Welcome back to another series in Peter Taylor Talks PMOs, and I'm going to talk in this episode around what I think are the top 3 tips for PMOs and PMO leadership in particular. We talked about in the previous video series about the balanced PMO. We talked about the importance of the balance between the first 2 P's of people and process, and if you focus too much on process, then you ended up with a PMO that became the project police. And that is tip number 1. Do not become the project police. Yes, it is part of the PMO's role and responsibility, but actually, if that's all you do, that's not a great place to be, it's not an enjoyable place to be, and nobody's going to love or support the PMO, and that's important. The second thing is, think about being the right sort of firefighter. We see so much of this in the world of projects and project management, of rushing around, putting out fires, solving problems in the moment, and it's part of the job. But again, if that's all you ever do, it's not very satisfying. In fact, it's soul destroying after a while. I was involved in project recovery for some time, and it's an okay role, it's an important role, but it's not a very satisfying role in the long term. And actually, if you're constantly putting fires out, being a firefighter, rushing into buildings and saving small kittens from fires, etc., you're never solving the problems. You're never getting around to the underlying issues. You're constantly putting a band-aid on top of a problem rather than trying to cure the problem. If you think about what those firefighters do, the men and the women, they spend a lot of their time making sure that fires don't happen. It's part of their job to go and rush into the burning buildings if needed, but actually they much prefer not to have to deal with a fire at all. So the PMO needs to be the right sort of firefighter, thinking about preventing fires rather than just putting them out. And finally, the third tip is be unique. I did some research for my book, Leading Successful PMOs, and in that book we undertook some research and we identified actually one of the top attributes for PMO leaders was the ability to be unique, because every PMO is different. Every PMO leader has to be different, and so the argument here is don't be afraid to be unique. Be as special as you need to be to lead the PMO inside your organization and be ready to change and be unique for another day. So they're my top 3 tips on leading successful PMOs.